Hello. Star-spangled episode of Empires of the Undergrowth development. Ooh, I actually haven't updated what I'm working on. It's not fire ants today. Give me 1 second. Okay, there we are. Working on formicarium difficulty. Okay, so I'm going to explain what's going on a little bit and where we are at. What I was doing a bit this morning. I'll also go over what the team has been doing this week, but I'll do that during quiet periods because I wanna really get my hands stuck in with today's work. Right, okay, so we're slightly later than usual. It's not going to be a shorter stream than usual, so I'm aiming to end about 5 UK time, which is in about 2 hours and a quarter. So it's maybe slightly shorter than usual, but we'll see. We'll see how many viewers we get during this time bracket. I can stream anytime on Thursdays, so doing some experiments to see who joins when. But without further ado, let's discuss. There's 2 things that I need to do. One's more fun than the other. One could potentially cause quite a few headaches. So, first of all, we're introducing difficulty settings to Formicarium Challenge 1 and 2. So, I'm back in the first Formicarium level. And I need to introduce and the current mode that it's on, I think, is going to be flagged as normal. I might make normal slightly easier and hard slightly harder than what we've got at the moment. So, introducing difficulty settings, which is going to involve sending higher level ants at the player. So rather than just level 1 ants. Right, well, Copter, good to have you back. So rather than just level 1 ants, so being sent at the player, we're going to send some level 2s, maybe some level 3s at Insane. Potentially more creatures being sent at the player. So particularly in the challenges where... you're right, Robo Boy. Good to have you back with us. So when the scientist sends a constant stream of ants at the player, on harder difficulties, I'd like to make the stream come faster, so there's more ants involved in the stream. A slight change to that can cause a large amount of can cause a huge difficulty change over the course of it. So I need to be very careful with that one. You're right, Pactane, good to have you back with us. Yeah, it might be worth revisiting that. I'll have a read of that post at some point. Is it being considered too difficult, or actually maybe we should have a quick read of that whilst you okay? Path to Equilibrium. I'm all right. The game is coming along. Streaming at a different time today, so perhaps different people will show up. Right, yeah, there's a post about Challenge 3. Okay, it's the reason why Challenge 3 have unlimited source of ants. Right, so yeah, there's a lot of talk about various strategy. Are we? Are we? Are we? Are we feeling that challenge 3 was too hard in harder difficulties, and maybe even too hard on easy mode? What's the kind of general consensus of challenge 3? If you give me some feedback on that, I can't read the entire forum post at the minute because it's big, and I want to get on with work at the moment. But if you give me the gist of it at the moment, there's definitely more than two. I can see 3 people talking in chat. Okay, so there's this. So introducing difficulties into challenges 1 and 2, but there's also introducing. Okay, so the save game stuff that I've been doing. When working with the fire ants, I've allowed multiple tenants to come from the same tile. So it's kind of fundamentally changed the way tenancy on tiles has worked. So which ant comes from which tile. There can now be multiple. Yeah, it's only for the fire ants, but it's an effect that's changed fundamentals across the board. And as such, when saving and loading a game, I actually refer to the tiles quite often and speak to their tenants, such as when giving food back to the holding ant. It takes it from its tile. So I need to think about that and come up with a system which deals with arrays there. I don't think I'm going to be taking that on in this stream because it's less interesting and potentially more difficult. So I think this stream we're just going to deal with formicarium challenges 1 and 2. So I'll show you the updated tunnel entrance. So this morning I was actually working on. I'll tell you what I was working on in a moment, but at the moment what we have here is the updated tunnel entrance, which you'll start seeing when the next big update goes out. This'll come with it, and it just has multiple it's just facing multiple directions. I clearly need to get rid of the dust on top of these holes, but so yeah, they kind of just move into a central chamber down here rather than having the kind of one directional one we had before. We've now got a 3-directional one, and Liam's got the movement code up to a point now where the surface movement is working to an extent. Apparently it doesn't work on ramps, but there's no ramps in formicarium challenge 1, so well, 1 or 2 there's no ramps in this map, so we're good to keep working, I think. Oh, looks like we've got some food carrying bugs going on here. In fact, this kind of looks like this guy's stuck, and so this guy is trying to walk through that spot and can never get to it. Interesting. Okay, there's clearly quite a few bugs still going on the surface. But either way, we can start looking at the formicarium challenge 1. I'm going to need to investigate these bugs as well, so we'll see. Okay, coming back to chat for a second. Played this in a while, waiting for some more complete game. A guy on the forum said it's hard to use rapid fire and stun to win. All right, so it's like if you've made a specific choice, it's incredibly difficult to get past it. Yeah, it might require a bit of thought. Could potentially work on a couple of little buffs, maybe. I don't know. We'll have a think about it. Yeah, the thing about Splash is it's harder to get the initial hit in with it, because rapid fire, the speed at which the projectile fires and the fact it doesn't go up means you always hit your target. However, the mortar ones, if they do connect, the damage, because it's splash damage, the damage increases with a lot of them. It increases huge. So, for example, 10 rapid hit ants, all firing a group, will hit 10 enemies. 10 mortars, all firing at a group of 10 enemies that are stacked together, are connecting 10 times 10 times. So 100. So they're actually getting 100 connections, where the rapid hit ones are getting 10. It's a way to think about it. Of course, that's if the 10 creatures are all on the spot, big enough to hit it. But yeah, something to think about. I don't know what's going on in the brains of these creatures. I'm gonna have a quick look at their AI before we go any further. So maybe something really obvious is wrong. Okay, so it's in the gather subtree. Am I close enough to resource? Uh-huh. So essentially it's coming in here, being given a movement command. Instantly either thinking that movement command succeeded or failed, or well, we don't know yet. Oh, that's saying if it's equal to 0. Basically, if it's movement, it's not moving anywhere. Close enough. Okay. Looks to me like it's succeeding. then this is failing. Oh, this might be it. Maybe. False. So target reachable is coming back as false there. In here, target reachable is using target location. So that might be the issue. Might be the issue. Can't be sure, but it might be the issue. So basically the check here is using the target location, whereas the check here is using the check here and here is using the actual target. So if I do that, that makes the check identical. So let's see if they still get stuck. Oh, teleporting. Amazing. Fascinating. That's really fascinating. I'm wondering whether part of the new code with Liam's movement is using is giving a much wider radius for the target location. I've been derailed a bit here. Sorry, I'll come back to What are you doing this? Yeah. We're still working on the movement updates, and here's the latest issue. And I'm gonna need to speak to Liam about this, but I think essentially it's using a target location, but the target location it's receiving can be quite a long way from the target. Hence why it's failing. It's just quite obvious why it's failing. Okay, so target nearby resource. Get random point on nav mesh, radius 30. So let's have a look what target it's receiving. So here we are, 6583. Let's So I'm just going to look at the XY. The Z should be exactly the same. 6583 1656. Six five. I suppose that is with it. 165. Okay, that. So there we are. The result here that's coming back is not within 30 radius of the object. So yeah, that'll be causing us problems. I'm just going to leave Liam a message. Give me 1 second. Okay. This isn't what we're here for today, though. So I've sent Liam a message about that. It was important that I don't just let things like that go, because they're going to cause headaches down the line. I'm going to return this to its original state. So this wasn't using target location originally. Right, anyway, coming back to chat, sorry, I'm just going to catch up. Yes, yeah. So we are introducing difficulty settings into challenge 1 and 2 to allow people to progress easier if they want to. If they maybe if they're not a normal standard player, maybe they're an easy standard player, so they can progress hopefully without having to repeat levels if they don't want to. I have a real question for you, Slug Disco. In the final version of the game, when it's ready to go public, if you know anything about it, do you think the game will be sandbox-like, with your own options to modify the gameplay experience, have more autopilot feel, campaigning? We've got kind of both in the game at the minute. So the free play game mode is very much is very much kind of one that uses a lot of random variables, and you get a different experience each time. And then there is like the more scripted campaign, which is the formicarium. So it's going to follow very much, the final product will follow very much the lines of what we're doing now. We're kind of with 3/5 of the way through the campaign now. So there's going to be 2 more tiers added. But we'll continue expanding on free play mode as well. So to give that sort of randomized, different each time kind of feel to it. It's kind of going to sit in between to allow some replayability, but also a campaign style. There's also a reason to replay the campaign, because you can build colonies in different ways. So that gives you a reason to replay the campaign with different colony, and then maybe trying to bring a different type of colony into free play. Food can fly now. What? Oh, you mean like a randomized? a procedurally generated map. I don't think we'll ever go fully procedurally generated. Certainly not for a long time, because the way the levels are decorated, it's very hand done. But I've been experimenting with procedural cavern generation in one of the extra maps, so we'll see what happens there. Wait, so Disco, you have challenge. Have you changed the entrance for the nest? Yes, I've changed the entrance to the nest. Once you have time to answer my questions, feel free. I'll go do my stuff now. I'll rewatch your recording. Okay, thanks for joining. Will the AI be in the free play mode? We are looking into bringing AI into free play mode, but also making more of like a skirmish mode with the AI as well. Both of those are currently within our plans. However, I'm not entirely sure how long that's going to take, so don't hold your breath. Okay. Right, so actually I'm going to turn the flying food back on. Just everyone loves flying food. Just because it'll allow us to test the level. So let's have a look at the blueprint for this. We also need to take a look at the blueprint for the other formicarium, because that's where the difficulty settings come in. Let me also have a look at... There's quite a few things we need to look at. But let's go from the UI down. So the actual point where the user interacts with it to select the difficulty. We'll start there, and then we'll work our way down into the code as we go. Okay, so starting with that, it's level setup, I think it's called. Formic level setup. There we are. So this is the dialogue where you select the level title. Not title. You select the level and the difficulty. So let's have a look in here. Setup. Okay, so check for gate missions. Okay, so here, remove difficulty on gate missions. This no longer needs to happen. Level is equal to gate level. It does not equal gate 3. Okay, so this just no longer needs to happen anymore. If it's a gate level, it runs that. If it's not a gate level, huh. We'll see anyway. Okay. Liam makes the music to the game. Jeff Nevington's actually a student. Oh, it's a name that Liam's used for a long time online. So yes, it is Jeff Nevington, but Jeff Nevington is Liam. Okay, so having a look. Oh no, hang on. It's this one. Okay. It's letting me select play level before I've selected a difficulty. It's doing so here as well, weirdly enough. Huh. Something strange is going on. And it's calculating rewards without a difficulty being selected. That's really odd. Okay, we got more issues than I'd hoped. I do actually remember changing something to do with this within the last couple of months. I can't remember what it was. Ah. So it's not easy, medium, hard, or insane. It goes into normal. It's probably not what we want. In fact, we probably... Okay, so additionally, it's skipping some stuff based on whether it's a gate level or not. If it's a gate level, it's doing... There's a branch here. Okay, so it's removing rewards. So it's if If the gate level is complete, it removes the reward sections completely. If the gate level is not complete, it then goes on to do the normal, medium, hard, and insane. Though, I think what we need to do here is on false, it needs to set the rewards to 0. Or not calculate the rewards. Okay, let's just test that. There we go. Okay. Oh, of course, as soon as you selected a difficulty, okay. Who knew? What? Big nut to crack. Yeah, well, we're slowly ticking this off. Okay, so play level. Is there an enabled? Yeah. Okay, there's an enabled function. I hate it when it does this. There we go. Okay, so for some reason this is always being flagged as enabled now. So let's have a look at the function. Okay, first of all, warning text gets set to nothing. Is get selected option. Right. If it's not equal to choose text, where's choose text? Okay, so I'm going to have a quick look at what happens here, because it should be disabled to start with and it's not. Okay, so what's going on? That's returning false. So if it's not equal to choose text is false, which means it is equal to choose text, which is right. So it is equal to choose text. Whatever this is shouldn't make any difference. Don't know what that is, so I'll need to look into that later. So that or that. So false and true. So that's returning true, which means it's fine, which is not the case. So is difficulty, we need to find references to this. Remove difficulty on, okay. So me disconnecting this has caused is difficulty. Oh. These are the only two locations that it's set. It's initially false to start with. But it was coming back as true, wasn't it? All right, I'm pretty sure is difficulty exists here in order to check whether there is a difficulty in the level. And it's doing a not is difficulty. Next clue. So I'm pretty sure is difficulty just needs to be set to true permanently now, because there always is a difficulty. I don't want to remove it entirely, just because we might make another level here that doesn't have a difficulty. I don't know, but so it's come back as false. So we've got a false there. So that'll lead to false on an or. Okay, so there we are. Choose a difficulty. That goes away then. Okay, good. Good. Okay, right. We're getting there. Just going to save this. Okay. What's next? Okay, so we can choose the difficulty now. Now I need to act on it. So let's take a look at the other formicarium level. I can actually cheat a bit here and just do a finding blueprints. I added in these find me comments into all the levels, so should show up. So there's lab formicarium. We're looking at for lab formicarium 2. Can't see it. Oh, maybe I didn't include it in there. Oh well, I'll just open it. Lab formicarium stage 2 apparently. Just add mole crickets. Is that the answer to everything? What is life? Just add mole crickets. What, to make the level harder? Just add mole crickets. Having problems trying to make ant fights harder? Just add mole crickets. I just want to see how this handles difficulty. I can't remember, where it does the split. An Uber Devil's Coach horse. Meet off the final boss in insane. That really would be insane. The army sizes you need to defeat Ubers. I'm not really sure that would be fair. Right. Obviously this formicarium still needs a bit of work. But we'll come back to this one. All I'm interested in is how difficulty is handled on the gate missions. Okay, interesting. So it's passed in. No, before I do anything, I'm looking for something called Find Me. It's not here. There we go. So I'm going to go back into formicarium 1 and then I'm going to find this from there. Okay, so going back to lab formicarium 1. Researching Find Me. There it is. That allows me to have both level blueprints open at the same time. There we go. Right. So, how does this handle it then? Where does this get called? Down here. So, activate gateway mission. So, let's have a look for that in here. Okay, so here there is actually difficulty. It's just not used at the minute. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in a difficulty into the inputs here. And the other one. Let's get rid to tick. That's not what we want. Gateway 1. Yeah, it's gateway 2 begin play it needs to be added into. Okay, there we go. And there. Okay, so there's something else I haven't considered. Which I'm suspecting is a problem. So I'll come back to chat whilst we're loading. Alright, Jack of the Jacket. Late is a very philosophical question. Late for what? We haven't been streaming that long. It's been about 50 minutes maybe. I think after Gateway Mission 10 there is going to be an ant revolution and ants are going to escape from the lab and start a new life. Gateway Mission 20 is where you kill the world leaders with your ants, and ants become the rulers of the world. Arguably, ants already are the rulers of the world. Gateway 50 is where you finally take over the universe. In Gateway 100, you split off into multiple timelines where ants are simultaneously doing different things. Okay, so I think there's going to be an issue here because the because rehouse the colony. Oh no, that's a completely different thing. That's fine then. Cool. Nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. You can all calm down. Okay. So going back to the difficulty settings. So there'll be some stuff that we can just crowbar into right now. But we definitely need to think about this. Okay, so ideas for difficulties. I'm just going to grab a piece of paper. Just a loop. Okay, so initially we're actually restricted by what the lab guy says. So during the mission, he mentions numbers of ants, so numbers of creatures during both of them. So we can't actually alter that. What we can do is alter the creatures themselves. So he doesn't say whether they're level 1, 2, or 3 ants. He doesn't say whether what size of spiders, for example, are sent out in Gateway 2. All those things we can kind of tap into. Often he just says beetles rather than specifically stating what size of beetles they are. Those sort of things. We can tap into it, so I'm not going to write anything down. I'm just going to have a look. Okay, so what does he do first? He introduces the level, then we get some more narration, and then we spawn 10 black ants. I believe he... Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to have level 2 and level 3 ants to spawn. So I'm going to create a couple of variables. Let's do a float. So what I'm going to do here so basically we're setting a percentage that are going to be level 2. I'm going to duplicate that and make it level 3 as well. And we're gonna factor that into the ant spawning. If we could make custom maps or mods, someone would probably make a world map. Imagine a world map mod with the fire ants. With the EU bull ants drivers in Africa. I'd love to open the game up to modding and map editing. And I certainly think that is one of the directions the game could take in the very long term. As in, once we've actually finished and released a full game, then I think that's the time to kind of start looking into maybe opening it up, because if we can open the game up in that way, I think that'll give the game a huge tail. So basically, we'll be selling copies of the game for ages because people will be constantly creating new content and new scenarios for it. I would love to do that. And the new way the tunnel exits work, they are very much in line with allowing players to be able to set up maps. We'll see. We will see. I'd love to take the game in that direction, but not right now. Okay, so on easy, we can have 0% for them. On normal, we're going to have 0 as well, I think. I don't think there's any reason to have higher level ants on normal. On hard, 30% level 2. 10% level 3. I'm just guessing at values at the minute. These will all have to be balanced. And on insane, 60 no, 60% level 2, 50% level 2, 30% level 3. I will be testing whether these work very soon. Rather than having a reroute node there, I'm instead just going to have a sequence, so it does one then the other. I'll move these above as well, so it makes sense. Okay. What's that doing all the way down there? Okay, so looking into that then, let's have a look at this tube black ant function. Basically, the tube black ant function is going to have to figure out what level of black ant to spawn. So where's tube black ant function? Okay, so I'm gonna We're gonna need some more variables as well. So basically, there's gonna need to be a setup variable before we run this. Okay, so this function is going to receive an integer which is total creatures, total to spawn, and 2 floats, percent level 2, percent level 3. Okay, so it takes those all as inputs, then it's going to do a bit of jiggery pokery and output 3 values, all integers. You know what, we're not going to output anything. We're going to take some more inputs. Okay, so these are just references to the spawning creatures. So what it's going to do is it's going to multiply integer times float, round, set. Nope. See, I can increment it. So math integer. See, I've passed it in by a reference, but now I have no idea how I would set that. I'm not even sure it's possible. Might not be, you know. Okay, I'm going to have to go back to the original plan. Having an output, having 3 outputs. Okay. Okay, so there's one final value I've got to work out, which is level 1, which is going to be, so if 1 is 100%, which it is, then we're talking 1 minus that minus that. No, no. No, not truncate. Round. Okay. So what I'm going to do next is something more specific to black ants. So I'm going to make a function for black ant setup, but it's going to use this function. But it's going to pass in and set the various variables. And this is entirely to neaten my level sequence. Coming back to chat. All quiet in chat. Okay. Right, so set up creature spawn levels. So now we need a new function called set up black ant spawn levels. In here, it's going to use functions and things. You know what, we're going to have is an array. Black ants, to spawn levels. Funnily enough, this will work with a... don't need the returns anymore. Watch this. Okay, so don't even need a return node. I'll add one anyway. So it clears out this array that gets passed in, and then adds 3 items to the array. So set a black ant spawn. What that's going to do is it's going to call that function Okay, so calling that will populate this. Then with the information from that, we spawn the ants. Now, here's the next issue. How do we order them? So let's say we've got level 1, 2 and 3 ants spawning. Do we spawn all level 1s, then all level 2s, then all level 3s? Or do we do something like a level 1, level 2, level 3, level 1, level 2, level 3 until one runs out and then just skip it? Or do we randomize it? I actually don't have the answer. What I might do is just rotate them so they're mixed in. Because if you don't have it, if you have it randomized, the issue becomes that you might get unlucky one time and get all level 3s out first. So the level 3s can tank more damage, keeping the level 1s alive, and it might actually cause failure, success or failure. Anyway, so back to the gateway 1. So where this is called, instead we call set up black ant spawn levels. that calls tube black ants. Which sets up calling of black ant delayed tube spawn. Let's find that one. Which sets up the calling of this. Now the issue is it's a very low level thing. I think what I'm going to do is do a function called level next black ant level to spawn, something like that, and then set that up earlier on. Right, back in 2 minutes. Sorry about that. I am back. Chant. Okay, so we need to go further back. Go at Project Zero. Okay, so I need to go back a couple of levels. Here. So this is where it drops a digit of black ants to spawn. Now I need to get okay, so that there, for example, we've dropped the first bracket of black ant to spawn. So here's where it's setting it up. Shift that over. So it's greater than 0. Also, okay, we'll do it at the start. So rather than black ant to spawn being greater than 0, we do black ant 0 is greater than 0. If that's true, we decrement it by 1 first, and then set the level to spawn. Then carry on. We don't need this anymore. Nor do we need that. Then we have a very similar thing for level 2. Level 3. Currently what I'm doing at the moment is not randomizing them at all. It's spawning level 1, then 2, then 3. So then if they're all not greater than 0, then we stop spawning. Okay, let's just see if that works. Oh, hang on, I actually need to I need to go into the actual spawning. This creature level that needs to be set. However, this is used for all creatures. Attack creature. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to add an input to it. And then from Black Ant, it's going to pass the level in there. My ants can't take down a crab, but get overrun by coach horse. Black ants just need a better hobby, is all. So, you know why I'm here, Ants Rock. Why make an ant game? Like, what was the inspiration behind it? It's something that's been on our head, in our minds for a long time. Back when we were at university, we were actually discussing the idea. Me and Matt started off discussing it. There was at one point we were kind of toying with the idea of various insect games because we didn't think it was well represented enough. Matt was more interested in insects than I was, but I could see that insects weren't actually well represented in games, considering how many of them there are. They seem to get a fairly poor representation. Well, Matt knew more than I did. And the more you research ants, the more you realise the variety of them and how many interesting things they do actually lend themselves quite well to game mechanics. And the actual evolution of how the game changed through our research and trying things out, and even before, like the original concept for the game was more Dungeon Keeper-esque. I mean, it's still fairly Dungeon Keeper, but we've got our own kind of flavour to it now. Hang on. Okay, let's try that. Let's see if we can get multiple level ants spawning. Like the idea, we were toying with it for a very long time. I'm glad you really like the game. I know it's not going to be for everyone. The theme of it's not going to be for everyone, but I think the people who it is for really like it, and we've got some very dedicated fans, which is brilliant. Right. That said, though, I actually think we have done a fairly good job of producing something that is enjoyable, even if you're not an ant fan. Ignore the teleporting food at the minute. It's a known issue that with Liam's movement code changes. Okay, so formicarium challenge 1. If I go with insane, the first group of ants that spawn should be, what is it, 50% level 2 and 30% level 3. Although the level 1s should spawn first. So we should see level 1s, then level 2s. I'm not convinced we've seen that. But I'll have a look. Creature level 1. Creature level 1. Creature level 1. Okay. Right, I'm gonna have a look at the populate thing. It's here. So I'm just gonna have a quick nosy at what's happening there. Don't mind promoting it to people when they see me play. That's good. I normally separate the ants into groups using all 5 pheromone trails. Is that common or just clump them into one? I think I tend to use two groups on most levels. On some levels I'll use 4, separating workers away from soldiers so I can keep workers harvesting. Like particularly on 2-2, I tend to have them separately, but I think everyone comes up with their own tactics. Okay, so those percentages are coming through correct. So we should, there we should have 2, 5, and 3. That's all correct. Okay, so it's getting added to this. Okay, so I'm going to have a look at this. I'm wondering whether the decrement's not happening. Oh no, that has definitely happened. Oh my god. There's the issue. I haven't set the blooming level to change. It's the problem with copy and pasting. Okay. I guess that makes sense. I suppose with if you put your nest ants in groups, you can send them to specific tasks underground if you want to. Okay, I think now this will work. I think we'll get multiple levels spawning. There's a lot of debug information going on here, hence the spheres that are flashing and the little dots that are appearing. Okay, I don't need to see that anymore. Okay, do we have multiple levels here? It doesn't look like. Oh no, creature level 3. Okay. So that's actually worked. Okay, so it looks like the creature levels has actually worked there, although they don't appear to be scaling up like they are meant to. Oh no, 1.3. Oh right, scaling up the whole thing. Yeah, okay. So if I put this ant next to one of the back ones, yeah, you can definitely see the size difference. Cool. Okay, that looks good. Okay. I now need to go through the entirety of the first level and entirety of the first level, the first gateway mission, and switch this for this. So let's have a look. We're gonna need to look into this as well. I forgot there's a second species even on the first level. Huh. Okay, we'll have to rethink this when we get here. Because my guess here is that we'll never actually get onto the level 2 ones. Okay, so there's gateway 2 as well. So this needs to be set up here also. Sorry, I'll come back to chat in a moment. I'm just concentrating whilst I get this done. What's this? This is unplugged. Oh, it looks like I redid how it works. I'm going to have to do the same with the gene thief ants next, and then also the wood ants, which I think they're actually going to get more complicated. Okay, just deleting the chaff. Already deleted it from here. That's not plugged into anything. Okay. Save that. I'll come back to chat whilst it's saving. Hi, Tap Lizard. I suppose normally my 5s are gather team with 1 and 2. Yeah. I think I'll go off what I've seen Fire Nation do. That's character. Also, hi Tap. 12,000. Are there more than 12,000 species in the world? Vampire ants with war paint seems fun. Vampire ants are cool. Not sure how you gene thief them into the colony. They feed on their own larvae. Yeah, they're actually one we were considered doing in the Kickstarter. They were pitted against because we did a couple of one species or the other. Can't remember what one. Might have been bullet ant. Might have been vampire ants or bullet ants. Because bullet ants are due to come to the game not as a tier of the formicarium, but like as an extra unit at the end of the campaign that you get to play with. Yeah, they've that's such a weird species of ant. But no, then we're not going to include them, but they were considered at some point. Right, okay. So now that's all been plugged in, I'm gonna do the same treatment for the gene thief ants in our game. So I'll be looking at gate. Let's look at gate 1, where they first come in. Again, we're going to need a percentage of level 2 and 3. Now, I could arguably use the same percentage. Don't really know why I changed the percentage. I'm just going to start by using the same percentage, and we'll consider splitting it out if we ever need to, I guess. Okay, so I'll duplicate this. Call it setup thief ant spawn levels. But I'm gonna use the same, although I can't use the same this. That needs to be different. Okay, so that'll populate that. Yeah, there's a huge variety of ants, huge variety of things we could do with the ants. Okay, so gateway 1. Concentrate, man. Okay, so there's the first spawn. Tube black ants. More tube black ants. Tube thief ant. Here we are. Here's the first one. And then we need to look at the function tube thief ant. And essentially copy what we did with tube black ant. What did we do here? Oh yeah, this is actually a little bit complicated, isn't it? Because you've got the various levels. Yeah, all that needs to come through. And we instead need to look at the thief ant one. One, two, three. So we need an equivalent version of this. And these have got to be separate because you can actually be spawning black ants and thief ants at the same time. Okay, so that's that done. We no longer need this. That needs to be connected. And then I think there's another thing. So thief ant delay tube spawn. Yeah, that needs the level plugged in. Okay, so that's the same done with the formicarium ones. Now we need to go through there's so many changes that need to be done. The game's kind of badass to the point of its make, because so many species not even fully known. Yeah, as long as the game has a dev team. Yeah, I guess you could. You just keep making more and more. By the time we've got a completed full-on game, a load more species have been discovered and we can make more. Okay, so that's the though I now need to find references to the setup function. Gateway 1. I just closed Gateway 1. Great, clever Jim. Okay, so the first spawning of thief fence is here, so I need to find references to that. Essentially, replace them all with that. This is all going to need a thorough testing. This is the constant flow attack now, which is something I need to put more thought into actually, because I I'd like to throw. Thinking that with the constant one, we're going to need to alternate them between the different levels. Maybe on normal, on easy and normal, it only spawns level 1s on the constant attack. Maybe on hard, it spawns level 2s every like third answer level 2, and maybe on insane every second answer level 2 and every third answer level 3, something like that. But I will think about that as we get there. So it's doing the same in the Gateway 2 mission now. The wood ants are going to be more complicated because there's different types of them that spawn. Empires of the Undergrowth. Why not? Was Matt like, hey, why not ants? Age of Empires. I played the crud out of Age of Empires. Age of Empires is a really good game. Age of Empires 1 I played a lot. I didn't actually get as much into Age of Empires 2. I know Liam got quite heavily into Age of Empires 2. I was never any good at it though. At the time Age of Empires 1 was out and I was playing it, I was still quite young. Well, fairly. Such an old game now. I just liked... I was like using it as like almost a town simulator rather than an army game. I put the computers on really easy and just get loads of villagers and get fishing in. And I used to not want the matches to end, so I just basically defend myself against the easy computers and just keep expanding rather than actually wiping them out. Again, that's not one that's in use. This is wood ants. The more complicated ones. Okay, I've been streaming for a hello, the Carp King. Good to have you with us. I've been streaming for about 2 hours and a quarter now, so I'm gonna stream for another quarter of an hour, and then I'm gonna end it. That's about my normal stream time. we're hopefully that'll allow me to test so there should only be one instance of it left. Yeah, there we are. Hopefully that'll give me a chance to test this level a bit. So I've got the thief ants and the black ants now spawning. I think it's what else I can do to make this level a bit harder. So let's have a quick look at the gateway one. So we've got the various waves of ants spawning in. Oh, the other thing I wanted to do was reduce the time between between the spawns of the constant attacks, because that way the constant attacks will come in faster, or they'll be larger. Right, so this is more eruptor waves. Seed break. Next wave announced. Tube black ant. Second joint attack. So joint attacks. Seed break. Next wave announced. Right, here's the constant attack. Okay. Devil's Coach Horse larvae, Devil's Coach Horse. I can't remember what he says at the end, but I don't think he says the quantity of them, so I can probably drop a few more coach horses towards the end. Okay. So it looks like the flow speed is 1.2 currently. Is that right? Where's the constant attacks? Constant joint attack. Yeah, 1.2 is currently the timing on that. Right, I'm going to make some variables. Constant attack interval. So there's the first variable I've got to play with. What else can I set? Devil's Coach Horse larvae attack. No. That was set to 8. So that's the second variable I've got. And then there appears to be 2 attacks of Devil's Coach Horse. All right. Okay, so the first attack of Devil's Coach Horse, I believe, has to be 1 because of the way he says it. But then I think I can play with the quantity of the second attack. So promote to variable. Devil's Coach Horse adult attack. No. That was 2. But I'll listen to him whilst we're playing, so I can make sure that it all makes sense. Okay, so time between spawns here. So on easy, I'm going to up it. So rather than 1.2, it's going to be 1.6. So it's going to be really long between the spawns. Here, I'm going to up it as well. So it's going to be 1.3, just slightly. On hard, I'm going to drop it. So it's going to be 1. And insane, it's going to be 0.7. No, 0.6. Insane should be a bigger jump than normal was to hard from experience. People taking on insane really do want a challenge. Okay, so six, 1, 7, 2, 11, 3, 16, 5. Okay, so I say all these variables are up for up to change. You went through $400 for payday 2. Whoa. That's quite there isn't DLC. It's something we'd probably consider once we've actually finished the game, is like maybe adding extra species on in that and charging a small amount for them. You could add them and give them a couple of levels. Allow you to add it to your formicarium. It's like packs like that. That would be something. It's something we'll consider, I think, further down the line, but certainly not something we'll do before the game's out of early access. There'll be a full campaign with a conclusion to it, and it will basically be, if the game's still selling well after full access is released, we consider expanding upon it. Or maybe you could sell it like an expansion, like a more like you used to get rather than DLC. In the olden days, you'd get an expansion, so it's an extra whole tier to the formicarium, and it expands on the game in other ways as well. Something we'd consider. I think these days the whole DLC thing, you don't get as much as you used to. I remember the days like when of Diablo 2, and you bought the expansion for Diablo 2, and it was such a huge chunk of content. Okay, so what am I doing now? Okay, so I think we're ready for a test. I think we are. Yeah, I think we are. Okay, let's give it a go. Let's see if it's working. We've still got the flying food. The ants using telekinesis to bring food to their jaws. But I'm not going to worry about that too much. That's it's an issue with the new movement code. And I had a choice. I could either have broken ants or flying food for my tests today. So I've gone with flying food. But yeah, let's try running the level on insane and see what it feels like. I want to listen. I want to listen to the scientists as well. So I'm going to turn my. Just to make sure it's coming out the right thing. Yeah, it's not. It's coming out of my headphones at the minute. Watch out for flying food.
Let's begin with a small threat.
Connecting the Fusca colony now. I will let 10 through to start.
Okay, so there we've got the different levels of creatures there. I'm not using this as a balance test, by the way, because obviously this formicarium is much bigger than you would traditionally have here. So I'm keeping an eye on other movement bugs going on. Already this is feeling a lot more tanky than it used to.
Our raptors have neutralized the threat to their food.
Let's make the game screen a bit bigger whilst we're just playing.
We don't want to harm the queen.
Understood. I wonder how they will react to a rival raptor colony. Introducing 40 rival raptors.
New movement code just kind of, because it's tile based, I think the nodes will kind of sometimes sweep around in certain might actually feel slightly different than oh, I'm not even placing the right marker down. Oh no, I was. I don't know. Oh, hang on, I've got all my workers coming to the surface as well. Get back down there.
Introducing a further 50 rival raptors.
Yeah, some chunkier raptors at the back.
Fascinating.
Go gather some food.
Now let's try 60 of
Be careful. I mean, this mission should end pretty nuts. Like, oh, it looks like they're coming in. Good chance to try out the new no attack zones and such. This colony's got food storage set up right at the back, which I'm not convinced is a good idea. It's a huge distance to walk. Like fighting the waves underground. Yeah. I generally agree. I think fighting them underground keeps your forces together a bit better, I think. So towards the end we should have the level 3s. Yeah, you can tell by the attack speed the level 3s there. Yeah, I should have. That'll be fine. I've got, like I say, I'm pretty sure this colony's completely overpowered for the for what gets sent this mission. Even with me changing it up to insane mode. Oh well, we'll see. It'll be interesting actually to see if insane mode makes a huge difference, because it might do.
It's interesting to see the colony fight on two fronts. Perhaps we should try 30 of each.
The getting random point at the minute is clearly using a tile as the central point, because they're not actually appearing in the tube. So I'm going to have to look into that. I'll note that down. I see all the work and passion for the niche title, then I'm getting sad that there's no more love for insects in the world. What I hear is that damn ants or damn wasps, yeah. So these groups here should. They should be spawning a lot more frequently than.
Let's make things a little more interesting, shall we? Enter the Devil's Coach Horse.
So that's a lot more Devil's Coach Horse than you normally get at that point. And then there should be 5 big ones. Well, 1 should arrive, and then 5.
Whoops. I seem to have dropped my beetles. I hope they don't harm the little ants.
Oh, there was some little ones there as well. Interesting. Oh, here come the rest. So that should be 5 that have just dropped. It looks like there's 5 there. Two, 3, 4.
Perhaps that's enough for now.
Okay. So I'm pretty sure all the measures I put in there worked fine. I don't think there's anything I need to worry about there. I'm not going to balance it around this, obviously. I'm going to balance it around...
Colony beam responding.
They mounted an excellent defense against 20, 25, and even 30 Fuscans, as you suggested.
Perfect. Perhaps we can provide more of a challenge for them next time.
What a fantastic suggestion.
Yeah, I'm going to balance it around first time playthroughs. Although Insane might be set up to need a bit of a grind. Maybe not as much of a grind as it's currently set up for on Challenge 3. But we'll think about it anyway. But either way, the structure is now in place on Challenge 1 for difficulty settings, so I can just balance them from there. Bite him on the thorax. Okay then.
Let's see how the colony grows over the next few days.
Now that they have experienced battle, I expect to see a significant rise in the number of soldiers. Beware the wolf spider.
Ah!
The queen is intelligent. Perhaps I should stop the experiments.
Go on, Royal Guard. Save her. Yeah, there we go. The scientists do not have names. We haven't even named them internally. Scientist 1 and Scientist 2. Okay. So, at this point, I'm going to end the stream for today. There's still some attack noise going on. That sounds like a spider attack noise, actually. Oh, there's still a spider here. That's why there's an attack noise going on. There's a spider murdering some of the workers. So yeah, I need to carry on with implementing them into Challenge 2 and balancing them as well. So I think I'll be doing that tomorrow. I'll be streaming again tomorrow. Again, my Friday streams tend to be a bit shorter. But yeah, so hopefully see you tomorrow. And thanks for joining me if you have done today. And we'll keep this going tomorrow. Hopefully there'll be a lot of playtesting tomorrow as well, because we've got over some of the more technical hurdles for getting the difficulty settings in. Yep, thanks for joining me. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Just to mention, next week I won't be streaming on Thursday because it's the day of my sister's wedding. So I won't be around next week towards the latter half. I might manage to get a stream in earlier in the week. We will have to see. If I do, it's likely to be Thursday. No, Tuesday, sorry. Yeah, congratulations to my sister. I'm very much looking forward to the occasion. So I will try and stream Tuesday. It might be later on Tuesday, but we'll see. I'm helping her set up on Wednesday, and then it's the actual wedding on Thursday. So yeah, funny times next week, but I'm trying to get one in. So yeah, thanks for joining me. Hopefully see you tomorrow, and ta-ra for now.